And I also trust in this one thing that has changed the game for the way my mindset works around launching. And that is, you are always going to get the amount of beautiful souls that you can serve in that time frame. You're always going to get the amount of people that you can handle. Welcome, Badass Manifester. I am so glad you are here. I'm your host and head coach, Ashley Gordon, master mindset and manifestation biz expert, founder of the Quantum Coaching certification, and multiple six-figure entrepreneur obsessed with empowering you to create quantum leaps in your energy, your life, and your business. This is the show to help you make magic your everyday normal, where the ripple effect is real and the guest experts are world class. My mission is to power your conscious and subconscious mind with manifestation teachings, business tools, and coaching techniques to put your potential into action. Consider this your weekly up level. Are you ready for quantum transformation? Let's do this. Welcome back, Badass Manifester. I should really say welcome back to myself because it has been a minute since I've had a solo episode, but I'm so excited. I hope that you guys have thoroughly enjoyed some of the guest experts that I've brought on over the last few weeks. I know that I had a great time interviewing them, and we have so many good ones in queue, so get ready for that. But today we are diving into behind the scenes of the QCA launch, and I'm really excited to dive into this because I think it's really important for the veil to be pulled back. I think that launching in the online space, especially for higher level entrepreneurs who have multiple six-figure businesses, it can look glamorous. It can look very appealing. It can look like a fairy tale. And I just want to say that launching is it can be that for sure, but most of the time it's an emotional roller coaster no matter what level you are at in your business. Whether you are making $5K a month or less, or whether you're making, six figures or more, or $1 million or more. Like, the mindset and the energy piece, it still remains the same. Like, the same level of importance along your journey of entrepreneurship. Like, it is so important to know that just because somebody has a quote unquote big launch, it doesn't mean that they didn't go through hell during that process. And it doesn't mean that everything was rainbows and butterflies and it turned out the exact way they thought it would and wanted it to, and their strategy worked out 100%. So I want to pull the veil back a bit because I have quantum leaped in the launches that I have pulled in, right? So like the first round of QCA that we launched was my first $100,000 launch. And then the second time we launched it, it was an over a $300,000 launch. And this time it was over a $200,000 launch. And I think it's important to know that success is not always linear. And sometimes you're going to make more in a launch than others. And sometimes your strategy is going to shift and change, and things are going to shift and change. And so I kind of want to go into some of those details with you, kind of talking about, how my mindset was, what my energy was like during this launch. I also wanted to share with you the launch process that we use every single launch. And I also want to talk about this round compared to last round, our preparation process, a little bit about the waitlist process, and what worked, what didn't, how my team supported, and the caliber of clients that we have called in. So let me just start by saying that every launch should have a goal, right? It should have a goal of how many people you want to reach, what's your income goal, what's your impact goal. And our income and impact was 75 students because last round in QCA, we held space for 50 students. And in my mind, I thought, the first time we launched, we had 26 students. The second time we launched, we had 50 students. So I'm like, we could easily get 75 because that's kind of, if you look back on your growth, you can kind of calculate what you think it could be. And so I thought, okay, cool, like minimum 50, but definitely 75. And I'm just going to start off by saying we did not reach that goal. Okay? We did not reach that goal. And you know what? That is okay. And I remember being in the middle of the launch and having these fears and gremlins come up of like, well, what if we don't surpass what we even did last round? What if we don't even hit 50 students? And I was talking to my coach about it, and she's like, yeah, what does that mean about you if you don't hit your launch goal? What does it actually mean? Let's go there. Like, what if you don't hit it? And I'm like, what will happen? Nothing. Nothing will actually happen. So I was able to release that feeling of like, we need to hit this goal, and coming from that place of like, this has to happen. And I just completely released it. And instead, I allowed myself to accept that the perfect amount of students are going to come into the program that will be the perfect energetic match for this cohort. Like, these students are going to get what they need within each other. And I trust that flow. And so in the beginning, I was really holding on to the goal, and then I like let go of the goal, and I just settled in, and I was able to enjoy the process much better. Now, when we launch our program, when we launch QCA, we use this program called 5-Figure Flow. And 5-Figure Flow is from my coach. My coach's name is Taylor Slango. She's the founder of Aligned and Ambitious Co. And her signature program is this launch method called 5-Figure Flow. And so I have her program, and I am an affiliate of the program. So after you listen to this, if you want to join, the link is in the show notes. And what I want to say about her program is that it's perfect at any level of launching. It gives you like very step-by-step of launching, and it gives you the higher level. So, you know, we use Facebook ads, we have a wait list, we have all these elements that are part of our launch, and we use her system because we literally type in the details of our launch goal, 75 people, our live event, our free event that we do, Big Coach Energy Live, how many people need to get into that event. Like, it gives you every single thing that you need piece by piece to launch with dates broken out. So you put in your launch goal, you put in your launch dates, and then it populates a spreadsheet for you that literally tells you task by task every single thing that you need to do for the launch. So what we do is I take that, I give it to my online business manager, and then she plugs it into our ClickUp, which is our project management system. So we have this system, and we have all these dates broken out. So managing the launch flow is very, very easy. Managing the strategy is very, very easy because we just use 5-Figure Flow, and it makes it so freaking simple. And so I wanted to share that with you because I think a lot of people get caught up in, I don't know what to do for the launch. I don't know when I should be posting, when I should be doing this. This system literally tells you what you should be talking about, when you should be talking about it, how you should be talking about it, what dates you need to post this, what dates you need to do that. And at the level that I'm at, it tells you, release this to your wait list. It tells you put this in, this is your Facebook ads, your copy should be written, these emails should be scheduled. Like, it goes into a lot of details, and they're super, super helpful for all the moving pieces, because as your business grows and as your launches grow, there's going to be more and more details and more strategy that you do when you launch. And so one of the biggest things that I've learned launching that I want to share with you is that when you have a process that works, and when you have, everything very organized, because that organization for me has helped so much. It just creates more intention, more planning. It's just, it helps me feel like I'm not behind, because that was something that I always felt when I was launching. I'm behind. I have to make sure that everything's on schedule. And it's kind of funny because in this launch, everything was so on schedule, nothing was behind, that I was even questioning, oh my God, can it really be this easy? But when you're that organized and you have a process that's that streamlined, 5-Figure Flow process, that's what makes it so seamless. So there's that piece of it. But what I've learned is that what helps with having a process and a launch plan is that you know exactly what you did each launch. And when you launch again, and you want to change something, or you want to experiment with something, or you want to see if something could work differently, you don't want to change that many things launch by launch. So from last launch to this launch, we didn't change that many things because what we did worked really well. And when you change too many things at one time when you're launching, you don't know what the thing is that isn't working or is working. So when you debrief your launch and you're going back and you're looking like what worked really well, what didn't work, what do I want to do different next time, it really helps to know like 1 or 2 or 3 maximum things that you did different so that you can pinpoint what worked or what didn't. So that's my first big tip for you guys, is to really understand that when you're doing anything, whether it's launching an online course or whatever, program, or anything you do in life, if you switch it up too much, you're not going to know what worked. So there's that tip for you. So the last round of QCA, we outsourced everything. So I outsourced a landing page because that's not something that I want to do. I outsourced all the copywriting. I outsourced a lot of like technical things, and that worked really, really well for me because I was able to put my energy and focus on the marketing, which is where I love to be when I'm in a launch. Like, I just want to be in a creative flow. I want to make reels. I want to make posts. I want to write emails. I want to be creative. I don't want to write emails. Let me just take that back. I don't. I want to write Instagram posts. And sometimes they're so good that we do use them as emails. And so because I outsourced everything last round and everything was prepped already from the round before, it was really a rinse and repeat process this round. So there's a huge myth that when you launch, you have to recreate the whole freaking thing again, and that's just not true. I had the same landing page. We used some of the same emails. There's nothing wrong with that. We used similar Facebook ads. I used the same exact launch event, Big Coach Energy Live. I made some tweaks here or there. But the first round, I was creating all of that content, right then and there. And this round, I didn't have to create that content. It was already done. I just had to refresh it, which is such a game changer and saves so much time. So that's really important. We did run Facebook ads both times. And what's interesting that we noticed is that this round for the Facebook ads, we were getting less applications because QCA is application only. We were getting less applications. However, every single person that applied, maybe except 2 people, didn't book their application calls. And the last round, we had so many applications, like probably 70 plus applications come through. And I would say like more than half didn't book their application calls. So the first round, like the last launch, we were getting a lot of applications and they weren't converting, even though we did convert 50 people. And then this round, we got less applications, but they were more qualified leads. So I'm not really sure why that happened, to be honest. I don't know if it's just because our audiences are more dialed in for our Facebook ads, but that was definitely something really great that happened because I realized that, it's not always about quantity. Like, we think for Facebook ads, and maybe you have no idea about Facebook ads. I know I didn't, a little while ago, but like, it's not always about volume. You can collect leads through Facebook ads and they might be solid leads, but you might only get 10 of them and they might all convert, right? You don't have to get a zillion leads. So I think that's important to know. And I think that that's an important message, whether or not you have paid advertising at all. You don't have to have a huge following to have a highly engaged audience. You don't have to have a huge following to be able to make money online. It's not about that. It's about quality over quantity. So just remember that. And then we always have a wait list for QCA because there's a lot of benefits for being on the wait list, and our wait list always converts super, super well. Like, it really does literally pays you to be on the wait list. And so every round, the wait list is like almost half of the participants. So that works extremely well for us. I'm not saying it works for you, but having a wait list is super beneficial because there should be perks to being on your wait list, and our perk this round was saving $1,000. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that worked really well is like when you're setting up your marketing plan, I highly recommend asking your students to go live with you. I absolutely loved panels of students. Like we had a panel for Big Coach Energy Live day 2 called Confessions of a World-Class Coach. And I feel like that is really what gets people super, super amped up to join the program, because they're seeing the students talk about the program and they're in the program. And so I think, I could sell the program all I want, but at the end of the day, the social proof that your program or your service provides, your coaching provides, speaks volumes. It speaks louder than any words that you could ever say. Your students will speak to what they're experiencing, and that is exactly what the people that are on the fence or considering your program actually want to hear. And that's actually going to help them make the best, most empowered decision for themselves. And that kind of brings me to my next point. During application calls, even last round and this round, what works really well for me is just complete detachment. I am not attached to anyone joining the program. Do I want people to join the program? Do I want our students to experience the amazingness that's inside? Absolutely. And I want them to make the best decision for themselves, because everybody's different. And I want the students coming in to be able to be in touch enough with their intuition to follow what their intuition is saying, and for them to make the most empowered decision based on that. So really, I'm just holding the space for them to ask any questions that they want, to make sure that they can make the commitment, and I'm not attached to whether or not they join the program. And I find that energetic state of complete detachment is what brings the students in. And they feel that. They feel that I'm not attached to it. They feel that there's no pressure from me. And I tell them that there's absolutely no pressure from me. I'm going to send you the link, to enroll, and you can think about it if you want. And if you're in, you'll just join, and I'll know that you're in. And I trust people to make decisions. So trust your students that they're going to make the highest decision for themselves. And that's an intention that I set. I always set that our students are following their intuition. They are, on their highest timeline. They're on their highest timeline of making the best decisions for themselves. And I trust that they're going to make the best decisions, because I am really big on creating the energy in the container. QCA is filled with amazing, amazing souls, and it calls in like really beautiful people. And what's interesting is that I feel something that we're really amazing at is building community and building connection. And I trust that the universe is going to bring the perfect people to help that connection cultivate. And at the same time, we're all mirrors for each other. So in the group, as you're moving through this, transformational program, everyone in the container is being a mirror for each other. Whether, someone's bringing something up for someone or someone's celebrating, everyone is being a mirror for each other. And I believe that, we are all evolving that way. We're all getting what we need from each other. And so I trust in the energetic blueprint of the container. And so that's another thing I wanted to bring up, is that every program, every group coaching program, anything that you launch, the container has an energetic blueprint. And so when I'm in meditation or I'm manifesting in, QCA to be a wild success, I am manifesting the energetic blueprint of that container to be, powerful and potent and magnetic, and call in the most amazing souls and be a safe space for them. And all the things that I want in that container, I put in that container, in the energetic blueprint of when I'm manifesting. It's just an intention that I set. And so I trust that those students are coming in that are matching that blueprint. And it's unbelievable, because I sit back every single time and I think about the beautiful, beautiful, amazing souls. I'm not just saying that, incredible people that get called to this program. And that's something that I hear very, very often, is that when I get on those calls, they're like, I just feel totally called to do this. This program is so aligned with what I need and what I want, where I'm going, and all the things. So, I'm just I get blown away by the people that this program calls in, because they're so beautiful. And I have to like sit back and be like, oh my goodness, wow, this is incredible. So there's that too. My team really supported me so much through the launch. I think that I've gotten a lot better delegating and allowing people to support me in the ways that I really need to be supported. And that has taken me a very long time. And I trust that the emails are going to be sent out when they say they're going to be sent out. And I trust that the posts are going to go up. And I trust that the story posts are going to go up. And I don't manage many of those things anymore. So it's really nice to have that support, to be able to like really put my energy on the marketing and being, in the front facing. It really gives me the ability to show up super, super strong. And my energy throughout this whole thing was really interesting because I was actually going through something really intense, and it kind of took me out. Like what I was moving through it during the launch was extremely time consuming and energetically consuming, that I actually couldn't bring my energy to a place of like feeling fucking amazing during the launch. Like that feeling of like, pure knowing, pure bliss, pure joy, like the way that you think everyone should feel and does feel in a launch, I did not feel. And I think it's really important to know that. And I didn't feel that way the last launch, because actually the last launch was around October, November. My grandfather had just passed away, and then my dad got sick and had COVID, and then he passed away. And it was terrible. It was terrible. And I share that because it's important to know that life happens while you're running your business. And it's a lot. It's a lot at times. And you don't have to be perfect through it all. You don't have to be, energetically in the most amazing place for you to call in the most amazing people and make sales. I just want to say that because I've shown that to myself. Because I've allowed myself to be in those deep, dark places when I'm supposed to be feeling super excited and energetic and launching. Supposed to be, right? So I want to give you that permission slip, because I know that there's this belief that is a complete myth, that just because you're a coach, you have to be perfect. And that couldn't be farther from the truth. You are a human through and through. And the more human you are, the better. And the more human you are, the more relatable you are. And the more human you are, the more people can resonate with what you are sharing. And I want to be honest about what I was going through during this launch. Like, I was not in a good mental state. And there's nothing wrong with that. I could still show up for the people that I was working with. I could still show up for the program. I could still show up for the launch when it felt right. And when I needed to give myself space, I was able to give myself space. And I was allowed to give myself space and able to give myself space because I was so intentionally set up for the launch, because I had 5-figure flow and everything was set up and I had my team helping me. I am so grateful that I was able to take the space that I needed when I needed it. And I think that there is like this over glamorization of launching, when really launching is a roller coaster no matter what. So that was my emotional state. And then, as the days were rolling by after we opened up the applications, I don't care what level you're at in launching, it is still an up and down process. Like, days where we were getting applications was so exciting. Days when we weren't, I was like, oh my gosh, why aren't there applications? But I wasn't worried about it. I was just thinking about it, right? Like, you're launching, you want applications to be rolling in, you want people to be buying your product. That's the point, right? And I just want you to know that at every level, there's another level. So like in the beginning, when I started my business, my roller coaster was like, oh my God, I hope people sign up. And I don't have that same fear like, oh, I hope people sign up, because I know that they will. And so you'll get past that point, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I hope that we can, keep meeting our goals. Because at this point in the game, it's not just a small business anymore. It's a larger business that has larger expenses. And so you want to make sure that you're bringing in enough to cover your expenses and then also make profit off of, and also help grow your company at the same time. So it's a whole nother thing that you are creating at a little bit of a higher level than when you are starting. So the idea that launching is amazing and fabulous all the time, if you see that online and coaches are preaching that, I would say like run the other way, because that's just not true through and through, because life's happening at the same time, and you're also running your business, and you're also running your team, and you're also trying to market. It's just so funny because when I showed up as a coach, I was like, okay, I'm ready to coach. But you're not just a coach. You are an entrepreneur. You are a marketer. You are a digital marketer. You are a coach. You are also a client probably to someone else. You are a friend. You are all these things at one time. And I want to pull the veil back to show you and be a truthful leader, because that is what I am a stand for. And not to be like, yeah, we just, we signed up all these students and we had all this income and it was amazing and like da-da-da. No, like life was happening, and that's okay. And I'm fine with like opening up and sharing that with you guys, because that's what I do. I remember like messaging my coach and being like, I want to be in like such a better energy for this launch, but I just can't get myself there. And when you're in those states and you're going through something and you just can't bring yourself to feel any other way than the way that you feel. And that's the work. So launching is not necessarily about feeling in your best energy. Of course, that's ideal, right? And I'm not saying it can't happen. It absolutely can happen. And I've had launches like that. But I've had my biggest launches ever. This was over a $200,000 launch, and I was certainly not in my best energy. And what does that go to show you? It goes to show you that, yes, you are creating your reality, and you are also getting what you need. And just because you're not in a high vibe doesn't mean that you're not going to get what you want. Of course, your vibration matters. Of course, your energy speaks louder than words. Of course, your energy is important and potent and magnetic. And it's not about being in the perfect energy for your launch. It's about being real with yourself and meeting yourself where you are. And that was my lesson. That was part of my lesson, was just being able to meet myself where I am. And it's just so funny because it's such a parallel like thing that we teach our students in QCA, to be able to meet your clients where they are. So equanimity is so powerful. That's what it means. Equanimity is about meeting yourself where you are, meeting your clients where they are. And so that is the curtain pulled back behind a huge launch of QCA that I'm so beyond grateful for. And guess what? We didn't hit our goal of having 75 students. We brought in 34 beautiful, incredible souls into this program. And I look at that as a wildly amazing success. And I also trust in this one thing that has changed the game for the way my mindset works around launching. And that is, you are always going to get the amount of beautiful souls that you can serve in that time frame. You're always going to get the amount of people that you can handle. And so when we first launched QCA, the beta round, my goal was 20 people in the program, and we brought in almost 30. And we didn't have the systems set up in place for 50 people at that point. But better believe we learned what we needed to learn. We implemented what we needed to implement to be able to serve more students the next round of the program. And with this round of the program, having less students than even the last round, I'm still getting exactly what I need, because I personally needed more space, and I needed to step down from being a mentor coach in the program so that I can best support my mentor coaches for being the best mentor coaches they can be. And mentor coaching was an amazing experience. And I realized that the program doesn't require me to be a mentor coach. I have world-class coaches who can do that for me. The program requires me training those people even more and equipping them with even more feedback to be even better, amazing mentor coaches. So we got the exact amount of people that my mentor coaches could then serve, because each student in QCA gets a one-on-one mentor coach to help give them feedback on their coaching. So we got exactly what we needed and what we could handle. And so please trust that when you launch and you get whatever number of students you get for that launch, it is the perfect amount of students that you need to make your program stronger. It is the perfect amount of students that you are able to fully support with all of your energy. It is the perfect amount of students. Like, trust in that so much, because that has changed everything for me. Even though sometimes we say we want, this big number of students, but really we're getting the perfect amount of students to create the perfect container of transformation. And consider and trust that those students who are in your program, they need you, but they also need each other. And it's all happening so divinely. And so don't be disappointed. Instead, be so beyond grateful that you can serve whoever you're here to serve. And trust that those numbers they're only going to grow, and they're only going to give you more of what you need to grow and expand, because coaching and being an entrepreneur is a personal development journey all of its own. And I always relate it to Tony Robbins. Like, he has rooms of 15,000 people at a time, but he didn't start that way. If he decided, okay, I'm going to launch these events, and he immediately had 15,000 people at a time, he wouldn't have been able to handle that level of success right away. And so trust that your curriculum, in the amount that you can hold, the space that you can hold, the success that you can hold, the energy that you can hold, it's all coming. It's all happening. It's all being curated for you. So yeah, I'm blown away by the way that this all works, the launch process, mindset. I mean, as a entrepreneur going through launches, year after year, launches transform me every time. I learn so much every single time, and they can really, really transform you if you let them, and if you see them more objectively than being so in it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I wanted to say that if you would like to purchase 5-Figure Flow, I highly do recommend it. I highly recommend it. I really do. I don't recommend things that I don't actually recommend, just so you guys know. 5-Figure Flow has been a game changer for us in our launches, as far as like systems, strategy, all of that goodness. So the link's in the show notes. I will also put the link in the Facebook group, Big Coach Energy, so that you guys can have it there, and in the social posts. Highly recommend. If you're a brand new coach, you're more advanced, or even at a higher level, the program will grow with you. All right, I think that's it. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Please tag me. Let me know how this episode resonates with you. Of course, I want to chat with you. So hit me up in the DMs, slide in my DMs. Okay, on that note, see you later. Woo! We did some work today. Thank you so much for listening. You know I love my BAM fam. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who you know would love it too, because we live for the ripple effect over here. And how can you best support the show? Make sure you're subscribed, hit the 5 stars, and leave a review on iTunes, and let me know how the podcast has impacted you. I love being part of your real-time journey, so screenshot the episode and tag me and my guests on Instagram at Manifest with Ash. Now say it with me. I am my own power source. I am the master of my own energy, and I deserve everything that I desire. We don't just talk about it over here, we be about it. Now go get 'em.